Hello. Happy Monday. Thank you for being here. If you are here, I know this is crazy right now because I have been having issues with this streaming platform. This probably is reminding me why we changed it. But anyway, we are here. Thank you for joining us for Ship the Show Live. If you are in one of the other ones, I apologize. Okay. I profusely apologize because this platform is just giving me a hard time today. But the ones that are here, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Hopefully, we can delete the ones that are not active. Hopefully, my man in the chair is working on that. Today, we do have something that I want to talk about. And being that it's the summertime, y'all, I kind of want to keep them fun. I know a lot of like our BDMs are still working on getting back to me on dates because everybody has summer travel. And since we all do have summer travel, I'm just waiting for people to confirm when they can come back and start having conversations with us. But in the meantime, we're going to keep these fun. So today we are talking about cruising on the East Coast and what cruise ports are the most popular. So I do have a code. It should be posted in the comments if you cannot find it. The presentation is live. So if you go in, you can go ahead and start actually taking the polls, or we can go through one by one. But this is going to be an interactive live. Again, today we're talking about all the East Coast cruise ports. And let me go ahead and see who is in the chat. Thank you for being here. Liam's having fun. Liam said, hey, Parker's going to go and chat. It's that time for Ship to Shore. Thank you so much, Liam. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being a member, and I definitely appreciate your friendship. You are amazing. Kathy B, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Hey, happy Monday. Thanks for also being a member and a friend as well. And Marjorie, how are you? Thank you for being here. Thanks for popping in on this Monday morning. Mickey's Adventure is here. Hey, Mickey's Adventure, how are you? Happy Monday. And DT Cruiser is in the house. What's going on, DT Cruiser? Thank you for being here as well. Again, I am sorry there's like 45 streams posted right now. So hopefully you guys will slowly make it over to the right one. And if you get a chance, just share it out and let people know we're in this one. Okay. Hopefully the kinks will get worked out because honestly, this is the platform we're probably going to be sticking with. So hopefully it'll slowly work itself out. Thank you, Mickey's Adventure, for telling everyone to hit that like as they enter. I definitely appreciate it. But let's get into it today. Let's get into it. Today, we are definitely talking about East Coast cruise ports. And we know that the world has a lot of cruise ports, right? But the East Coast is the most popular for cruise ports. I mean, honestly, let's talk about it. Every time we talk about taking a cruise, unless you live on the West Coast, you're most likely going to go to one of these ports on the East Coast. And we're going to just talk about some of them and see what you guys know about these cruise ports. And yeah, we're going to get into it. Let's see here. So I'm always going to start with this because I do want to get people's just kind of their state of mind where they are. So if you see something that looks familiar or like we talked about it before, it's okay. It's not going to take away from what we're talking about today. Okay. So today's agenda, we're going to be talking about East Coast cruise ports. We're going to have some interactive polls. We're going to be talking about some key ports and some fun facts. And yeah, just doing Q&As. Leo said Long Beach isn't a bad port. We're going to do West Coast next week. We're going to do West Coast and other cruise ports next week. But this week, we're going to talk about East Coast. And definitely, I want to get into the West Coast ports because it's something I want to see myself. So once again, in one word, when you think of cruising, What do you hear? Drop one word of what do you think of when you hear cruise vacations. I always want to start with that because there also may be some new cruisers in the house, and I want to make sure that we also, as the cruise community, if they're going back and watching this, or is somebody who's thinking about cruising for the first time, we want to debunk some of those myths. So if you're a part of it or you don't see it, let me know and I can try to put up the poll. But whenever you think about the word cruise vacation, whenever you hear the word cruise vacation, what is the one word that you think about? Shiro is here. Thank you, Shiro. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm like I said, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry that this is so all over the place. Of course, this happens like an hour before I try to go live, and then I'm spending the rest of the time rambling, trying to fix it. But yeah, relaxation. Relaxation. Yes, that is the word. Just trying to relax. Just trying to relax. So the next one we're going to say, have you been on a cruise? So if you've been on a cruise before, definitely drop that in the chat as well. Or you can actually take the poll. The poll code is at the top or is actually in the chat at the top as well. DT Cruiser said fun. That's your word too. Fun is your word. Fun is your word. Exactly. And you can do both. You can have fun and you can relax. You can do both. What's going on, G Fox? Yeet. Thank you for being here. I have to say it every time, even if I'm not saying it right. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Shiro said, getaway. Yes, get away from everything. Getaway is your number one. Number one is getaway. Leo said, fun, food, sightseeing, drinks. Oh, sorry, that's more than one word. Leo, you can have more than one love. It's okay. It's okay. You can have more than one. Uh, and yeah, everybody that's here so far that's answered in the poll or everybody's in the chat is definitely a cruise veteran. So I love to see it. We always want to just go with our instincts and just think of whatever word that comes up to mind. And Liam has 4, so it's okay. And I love seeing that so many of us here are actually cruise veterans. So I appreciate you guys being here joining. Which U.S. coast do you think has more cruise ports? And I think we kind of already talked about it a little bit, but you can either drop it in the chat or you can actually use the poll, which is active. Which U.S. port has the most cruise ports? Okay, so when you think about it, okay, I already see a couple of answers for East Coast. And then also, let's think about it. Which ones do you see the most commercials for? Because at the end of the day, the commercials are, first of all, everywhere. They're not just in like one area anymore. Commercials are everywhere when it comes to cruise ports. Not just YouTube, not just on TV, billboards in landlocked places that are not like close to beach areas or cruise ports. Those, I mean, it's everywhere. Just general advertisements, magazines, newspapers, they are going all out for these cruise ports. Shiro says East Coast. Let's see. L channel 32. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. If you're new, just let me know and I'll make sure that I'll properly celebrate you without Brandon. We usually do that on Thursday, but thank you for being here. East Coast, absolutely. So the poll, the answer is, of course, East Coast. Team Reach Travels, thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys dropping in, fam. We appreciate you so much. So yes, East Coast, and Florida is the absolute king of cruise ports. Okay. Liam says East Coast is where the most people are. And you know what? And honestly, most cruisers are on the East Coast too. So when we think about that, and we think about which coast does host the movie, it is for a lot of different reasons. It's definitely for a lot of different reasons. Hey, Kenny Elliott, how are you? Thank you for popping in. I appreciate you. So then also, not only that, Florida alone has 5 cruise ports. That is more than most states. Like 5 cruise ports in one state is crazy. But we also got to look at where it is as far as convenience to some of these destinations and the ease of access to the cruise ships in and out of these ports. So of course, Florida is going to be the number 1 cruise port, and East Coast is going to be the number 1 holding the most cruise ports, the number one coast. So now that we know East Coast holds the number one cruise port, by passenger volume, which one is the busiest to least busiest? So if you're in the chat, put them in order. Which one is the busiest to least busiest? If you're in the poll, if you're in the chat, you can just drop it and we can just talk about it. So this is really testing your knowledge of which one has the most and the least busy. So you can definitely take your time with it. You don't have to rush through it because it's a little trickier than what we think, first of all. But we do know Florida is up there because it's Florida, right? So Florida is up there. Also, when we're thinking about the poll, which one has the busiest to least busiest, also think about the access to airports too. So that'll kind of give you a hint in putting it in order. But think about which one has the access to airports. Think about which one you, to your knowledge, you know for a fact has the busiest cruise ports. So let's see here. Florida Cruises is here. Hey fam, thanks for being here. We're just having a little fun today, just talking about East Coast cruise ports and seeing what you guys know about East Coast cruise ports. So drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Join in on the poll if you can. And then Liam said Miami. Yeah, and then Port Canaveral. Okay. And then the Fox then said Miami, Port Canaveral, and then New York. Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. I like it. So let's see here. I think we got a good number of answers here. So you guys said for number one was Port Miami, the Port of Miami. Number two was Port Canaveral. Number three is Port Everglades. Number four is New York. Number five is Boston. And the least popular one is Baltimore. And Shiro said, I agree with the pollers, Miami, Port Canaveral, and then etc. So with number one, you are exactly right, goes to Miami. Miami actually has 8.2 million passengers per year. 8.2 million passengers per year goes through the port of Miami. Number two is going to be, you're right, Port Canaveral. It actually has 7.6 million passengers. And I think a lot of that has to do with Disney too. I think a lot of that has to do with Disney. So you are absolutely right in which ones you think are the top. And yes, Baltimore, Maryland would be in sixth place. Baltimore would be in sixth place. All right. So Port Miami handled 67,000 passengers in one day. That's equivalent to filling how many football stadiums? Oh, we just playing poll. Some of y'all like trivia. Some of y'all competitive. Okay? So I just want to see how competitive y'all are. So 67,000 passengers in one single day. How many football stadiums is that comparison to? For reference, most NFL stadiums hold about 70,000. Most stadiums hold about 70,000. Okay. And I'm just sitting here trying to picture 67,000 people on a cruise ship, getting on cruise ships in one day. Sounds crazy. So Liam said one stadium. And let's see. Anybody else? So the poll says two. So somebody said two, and then somebody said one. So yeah, I honestly, Liam is absolutely right. So that is equivalent to one stadium. Mickey's Adventures came in and said one. That's right. The answer is one. All right, guys. So, all right, I have some true or false questions for you, and let me see if I put it in the poll. I don't think I put it in the poll. Let's see. True or false? And the first one is Port Canaveral only has 6 terminals, but handles almost as many passengers as Miami's 10. Port Canaveral only has Port Canaveral only has 6 terminals, but handles almost as many passengers as Miami's 10. Is that true or false? So I know this sounds impossible. It sounds impossible. So because how can you have fewer terminals, but you can also handle the same amount of people? But think about the earlier poll when we're answering this, right? Because the earlier poll, Port Canaveral came in second to Miami. So, and let's see here. So Shiro said true. The Fox then said true. And then Florida Cruiser said true. Kenny Elliott said true. Yeah, you guys, you're right. It's true. It's true. And Shiro's right. It's because of the big ships. Let's think about the ships that are there right now. We're talking about Wonder of the Seas is there right now. And then they're getting ready to start doing Star of the Seas from there. So they're putting bigger ships there, which leads to more people coming into port. And I always just tell the story about when we first did Wonder of the Seas, we did it in Port of Miami. The second time when I went with my cruise Kibitz sister, shout out to Cruise Kibitz, we actually did it in Port Canaveral, and it was a mess. But they handled it. But it was a mess trying to get, because it was so many people, and I don't think, and to my knowledge, I couldn't remember a time where Port Canaveral just handled that many people. But it was just amazing that it's just amazing how they had a small blockage, but they got through it. Like Liam said, Port Canaveral is fast. It is. So it is definitely about efficiency. It's about them handling bigger ships. And like, if we want to, I guess if you want to compare it to Port Canaveral, is to the Port of Miami, it is very, very close, and I think they actually can handle it. So the second question, true or false? Brooklyn Cruise Terminal won Cruise Terminal of the Year. Brooklyn Cruise Terminal won Cruise Terminal of the Year. Is that true or false? True or false? And thank you, Mickey's Adventures. I appreciate you. Please don't forget to thumbs up and share the live. And once again, I'm sorry for all the confusion of how many different ship to shores there are out there today. This streaming platform was being really weird. So, Florida Cruiser said true. Shiro said false. DT Cruiser said false. And Liam says they are trying to upgrade Port Canaveral. They are trying to upgrade it. Yeah, but also, I don't think people also consider too, and I think a lot of things that we want to remind people, especially when they're new cruisers, is that Port Canaveral is not in Orlando. So you fly into Orlando, but there's actually an airport that you can fly into that's a little bit closer to port, but it may cost you a little bit more, but it's not in Orlando. But Orlando is a closest like international airport that you can get to it. So a lot of people fly directly to Port Orlando and then take that 45-minute to an hour drive. But we also, we have great family in like Corey from Cruise Control Transportations that can actually offer shuttle services to get you to and from Port Canaveral. So always remember them. We have a code if anybody ever needed. Just reach out to us and let us know. Liam said true. And Mickey's Adventure said false. So the answer is true. Princess Cruises gave them the award. So Brooklyn is officially a cool port now. Now, we've never cruised out of Brooklyn. I heard like cruising out of Brooklyn is kind of hectic just because of you can get dropped off in the wrong areas and the taxis kind of lose patience with that. I do want to kind of try it. Of course, I want to try to cruise from all these ports. The major ports that we've cruised from on the East Coast is Baltimore. We've cruised out of course, Port Canaveral and Miami. We've cruised out of Tampa. And I think that's it. Those are our cruise ports. Oh, we cruise out of Norfolk and we cruise out of South Carolina. So those are the ones that we cruise out of. Kathy said, "I will need it in October." Yes, 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 yes. So, and for those of you who are joining us on the cruise in October on the Utopia of the Seas, we actually have, and I sent out an email, but I will send out another one today. We actually have a discount from Cruise Control Transportations that's going to pick everybody up who's affiliated with the group cruise, and take us to the port and bring us back. So if you need it, let me know. But I will tell you guys how to sign up and use that discount. So thank you. Shiro said, wow. Yeah. Princess gave it to him. So, all right. So question number 3. Charleston doesn't allow cruise ships during the summer. Charleston does not allow cruise ships during the summer. And what we've learned about Charleston, think about it. What we've learned about Charleston, I know it started like the biggest one was Carnival because Carnival ported there all the time. I know the biggest one was Carnival, but Charleston has kind of gotten a little bit of a, not a bad rap, but they've been in the news a lot about their cruise ports. So good afternoon. Hey, Regina, how are you? Regina said, I'm cruising from Brooklyn in September on the MSC Meraviglia. Oh, I hope you have a good time. Please let us know because we've not been able to cruise out of NYC yet. So let us know how that is. Let us know how that experience is. I've heard it's kind of a funky thing if you haven't figured it out. I've cruised out of New York in the 80s going to Bermuda, and that's another port destination. I know some of the ones out of Norfolk goes to Bermuda with Carnival. So I'm interested to see how the Bermuda thing works too. DT Cruiser said false. And want to go yellow, say hello, I'm late. No, you're fine. Thanks for popping in, fam. I appreciate you. We're talking about East Coast cruise ports and we're doing a little trivia today. So thank you for popping in. I appreciate you. And if there's a whole lot of lives, I'm sorry. I thought Charleston was done with us. Charleston is not done per se. So let me get through, let's see, the false, and Kenny said false as well. Charleston is not done per se. So the answer is true. June through September, there are no cruise ships. It's too hot and humid. And even the ships avoid Charleston in the summer. But I don't think that's the main reason why. We're going to talk about it because Charleston, listen, they didn't really want to cruise ships there in the first place. And if you've ever cruised out of Charleston, our first like major blow up video was from our Carnival Sunshine cruise out of Charleston. And when we first pulled up to that cruise port, we always wondered, because the first thing is they had a silent sail away, which I didn't understand. I was like, this is not a usual Carnival sail away. Ain't no music playing. Like, where the sail away party at? Well, it wasn't one because the cruise port is right there in residential areas. So there's condos around the cruise ports. And there's a lot of homes around the cruise ports. And those people did not want to hear that horn playing. They didn't want to hear that horn. They didn't want to hear that music playing. They had like a noise ordinance. So once you get a little bit more into it and start reading about it, they really didn't like the cruise ships being there during the summer. They didn't like it. Even though you would think it would be good for tourism, they really didn't like the cruise lines being there during the summer. So unfortunately, June through September, there's no Carnival ships. There's no ships at all, June through September. The Faustin says New York's cruise port for me was good and the views were amazing. And that's the thing. It's like, if you can get past the hecticness, I guess it just also depends on how many ships are in port that day. If you can get past the hecticness of the whole thing, I know the sailways are beautiful. Liam said YOLO on cleanup duty. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys sending the thumbs up. I definitely appreciate it. Kenny Elliott is speaking to everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Hey Desiree, how are you? Thank you for popping in. Thank you so much, fam. Leo said, if they don't want the noise, don't live next to a cruise port, train station, or airport. But it's on the water, Liam. It's on the water. Like, yeah, they want to live, they want to see the water. They want to be near the water. So a lot of people do the give and take, but the city got an ordinance in. And so no, so now that Carnival is gone, it's seasonal. Cruise ships are there seasonal. They're not there all the time. So let's do a cruise port personality quiz. All right. So what type of cruise port appeals to you most? I see somebody already answered. They said so Port Canaveral because the theme parks are nearby. New York is the option because of the big city vibe. So New York or Miami, Boston or Portland because of the coastal towns, and you got to get that lobster. How do they say it? Historical significance, you will go for Baltimore or Charleston, and then the military or navy, you will go for Norfolk. So what cruise ports appeal to you the most? Which one appeals to you the most? All right, so this is your cruise port soulmate. This is how you know which cruise port is for you, because whatever vibe you feel is going to be the vibe you pick. So if you think about your ideal vacation, are you a theme park? I'm a theme park girly. I don't mind cruising from Florida because if I can tack on a day before on a theme park or a day after, I'm good. So for me, I would probably go for Port Canaveral. I like Port of Miami, but I would probably go for Port Canaveral because I like theme parks. That's just who I am. I also like city views. That's another reason why we love Port of Miami so much, because I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm gonna keep shouting for the rooftops. Virgin has the best sailaway. Those nighttime sailways with the Port of Miami in the background, like the city of Miami in the background and the lights and stuff, absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna sing those praises 100 times. So I absolutely love the Port of Miami. But those are my two favorite ports. But when we went to Baltimore and we got on Enchantment of the Seas, we just pulled right up to the port. We just got off the highway and the port was right there. It's each one has so many different options, but it's all dependent on your personality. It's all dependent on what you like. Virginia said cruise from Cape Liberty, Port Bayonne in New Jersey to Bermuda in May of 2023. It was great. Uber ride from my house was $95. Well, let's think about that, because you're probably gonna pay that in parking anyway. So, and then are you going to what is parking situation like? Can you park near the cruise port in New York? We've never cruised out of New York, so I really don't know. So that's a good point. But $95, interesting. Liam said Port Canaveral because it's where I live. Hey, that's the easiest way to go, Liam. Port Canaveral because it's where you live. Shiro says she likes the big city. Well, hey, Ricardo, how are you? Thanks for being here. I appreciate you popping in. Florida Cruises said the port closest to me is 20 minutes to Miami and 25 minutes to Fort Lauderdale. You in that sweet spot. You in that sweet spot. I love it. I love it. And Mickey's Adventure said Fort Lauderdale. I like Fort Lauderdale, but Fort Lauderdale is very much a secured port. You got to have your bells and whistles to get on that port. But I do like their port. So in the poll, you guys are saying one for theme parks. Two of you guys said the big city, and then one of you guys said Boston or Portland. So nice. Okay, so let's talk about how much money do you think Port Miami brings in to the local economy each year? And guessing the billions. How much money do you think the Port of Miami brings to the local economy each year? All right. So let's talk money. How much do you think? So we're also going to think about all those passengers. Okay. Remember, we got the 8.2 million passengers spending money. You have people booking hotels. You have people shopping. You have people at restaurants. You have people sightseeing. You have people just, even last minute stuff, renting cars. All of this stuff builds into the economy. So how much money do you think the Port of Miami brings into the local economy each year? How much money? Liam said 2.5 billion. 2.5 billion. The Fox News says 3 billion. And then over the poll, I see 100 billion, 100 billion, 50 billion. Some nice guesses. Some nice guesses. I like it. I like it. So the correct answer is $61 billion annually. The economy brings in $61 billion annually through Port of Miami. Okay. And if we're putting that in perspective, that's $340,000 per day every single year. $340,000 a day. And it doesn't seem like $340,000 a day is a lot, but when you add it up annually, $61 billion is a lot of money. Regina said, yes, there is parking in Cape, Liberty Port, and Carnival's. Okay, nice. Okay, that's one thing I've never thought about, because I know if we were ever to go, we would have to catch like an Uber or Lyft or something. So just thinking about the parking aspect of it, the fact that there is parking is good to know. It's good to know. Thank you for that, Regina. I appreciate it. Okay, so when I say Port Canaveral, which cruise line comes to mind first? When I say Port Canaveral, which cruise line comes to mind first? Is it Carnival? Is it Royal? Is it Disney or Norwegian? This is actually, because I honestly want to think, which one do you think people would associate as the most popular for Port Canaveral? So we also want to keep in mind, let's think about what Port Canaveral is famous for, and what family-friendly cruise lines love Carnival. Love Florida. So this is just like an association test. We just want to see which port comes to mind when you think about these cruise lines. So Liam said Disney Cruise Lines. Disney Cruise said Disney. Shiro said Disney. Royal said Regina said Royal, and Mickey's Adventures says Carnival, and the Fox Den says Disney. And you know what? It's Disney. Like, most people associate Port Canaveral with Disney because if you're going to Disney and you want to include a bundled trip, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to think about Mickey. You might go to the park, take a cruise, and then maybe do a park. They might bundle it and sandwich it together and do both. So a lot of people do. When they think about it, when they think about Port Canaveral, the first thing they think about is Disney, because literally it's 45 minutes to an hour away, and it's a quick turnaround for them. Even some of the ports, some of the ships that port in Port Canaveral for a day, people will get off that ship and go to Disney and then come back. I don't know how they do it, but they make it work. But there are people who actually take short excursions to Disney, which is crazy to me. I don't think I can do it. Liam said, I didn't know Disney Cruise Lines in the Mediterranean. Yes. And that's so crazy, because that was like really one of the cruises that we were thinking about trying, but there's no way we could have made that happen this year. But yes, Disney is in Mediterranean. Mm-hmm. Yep. So C is having an amazing time over there. All right. So when planning a cruise, what matters to you most? Is it the price? Is it the size of the ship and amenities? Is it the destinations visited? Is it easy drive to port, airport, or cruise line reputation? Which one matters to you most? And I definitely want to know that too, because it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. Kathy said October will be her first Florida cruise. Okay, we got to make it special. And Kathy, you'll get to meet Liam. Disney came a long way since the big red boats. Disney has transformed a lot. Let's see here. The easy drive, and that's for most people. And now, especially now, what I am also learning from just having two Parkers in one world, people really don't like to fly. And I'm sure things in the news right now is making that more prevalent, but people really do not like to fly, and they are trying to find any means, by any means necessary, to get to these cruise ports outside of flying. So, like you guys are saying, the size of the ships matters, and the destination that you visit matters, but also, like Liam said, it's the easy drive. It's the easy drive. Um, and then Shiro said destination then cost. Because when we first started cruising, it was about the ships. And it's still about the ships. But for us, now we're getting to the point of, because it's about the ships so much, you end up going to Nassau 45 times a year. Or you end up, you know what I mean? Like, so now you got to start making the ship second and the destination first in order to get to more places. Because we say it all the time, believe it or not, we've been on a lot of cruises. We've never been to Jamaica. Never been. Never been. Never been a stop for us. Never been, because we were so ship focused that we never hit some of the destinations we've always wanted to hit. So sometimes you got to have that give and take, right? It's got to make sense. Shiro said flying a cruise is stressful. It is. And it's not even just, it is. It's the thought of it being stressful. And then it's also, we're thinking about it. What if there is a delay? And then people are getting back to flying in day of, because things are getting so expensive. So you have people getting back to flying in day of. Then they're taking chances that they probably shouldn't be taking. And if there's a delay, even we've even done it when and we don't do it as much now. We've done it once or twice where we've flown in the day of, but it's not for the faint. It's not for the weak. Like, you can't, you gotta just know that everything is going to work out. You got to know that everything is going to work out. Leo said even Miami Port is just 3.5 hours drive down the Florida Turnpike, and now you don't even have to drive. Brightline, you can get it. You can sit on the Brightline, have you a couple of mimosas, have you some drinks, chat with friends, and ride from Orlando to Miami in 3 hours. And then also, what we discovered by doing this, and this is just coming from Fort Lauderdale to Miami on Brightline. The Brightline station is 10 minutes away from the entrance to Port Canaveral. So if you can get to that entrance, which is by that Bayfront Park area, if you can get to the entrance, there's a green trolley that goes on Port Canaveral for absolutely free, and they will drop you off to your ship for nothing. So even once you get there, you still don't have to take an Uber. You can get off the train. You can walk it's about a 10-minute walk. It's about a 10-minute walk. I can't tell you how many Miami City blocks but it is a 10-minute walk. We've timed it, and you can get there, and that trolley stops there continuously because they all make the same circle. And then it will take you to the port. You tell the driver which ship you need to stop to, drop you off for free. And then if you got to come back, you just do it in reverse. Same exact thing. Liam said, even with Brightline, it's a schedule that has me not using it and planning to drive. But the schedule is so, they leave so often. And I understand what you're saying. They leave so often, but they also price based on popular times. So in order to get a better price, or even a better, which to me, we've done economy and we've done the business class, they're both great. The business class, they feed you drinks and food and all this stuff all day long. You can just, as long as you're on the ship, you can eat there. But if you book it earlier and you know you're going to take it, you can get a cheaper price than waiting like the day of or a couple of days before. So you can actually get, for the price that you were probably paid the day before, if you book it early enough out, you can get a cheaper price and get a better seat. So I like Brightline. I really like Brightline. I've taken it so many times. Kenny said, I live in Florida. Oh, nice, Kenny. Okay. Next time we'll have to, let you know when we're down there. Let's see here. Did it skip? No. Happy Monday. Sorry. 67K is a decent size small city. Yep. And let me just make sure it didn't jump. I think it did. It did jump. That's another thing that this thing does. So, here we go. The port closest to me is 20 minutes. Mickey's Adventure said, I priced a ride, an Uber ride from my house to Cape Liberty. It was $125. I am cruising from there next month. So does Schedule and Save help you guys? Does Schedule and Save help you guys? Just wondering. Let's see. Love sailing out of Baltimore. I just wish there were more options. Yeah, so right now, is it only Royal and Carnival, I think? 2.5 billion. Okay, it skipped up a little bit. So it must have missed some of you guys' comments. Yeah, there is parking. Okay, I'm just trying to catch up. Make sure I don't want to miss anybody's questions or comments. And Foodie Vacations, hey fam, thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. And then Mixed Adventures said, as you enter the chat, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Thank you, fam. Yeah, so yes, so on Uber, you can actually schedule your ride ahead of time, and it's supposed to save you money if you do it. So you can schedule out your ride for them to pick you up. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was with the schedule. Okay, nice. Okay, nice. Love to hear it. So if you didn't schedule, $125 is still, in my mind. But either way, once again, compare that to parking or you having to drive. So that's not bad. Thanks, fam. Appreciate you popping in. Yep, we're just talking about the cruise ports, and next week we're going to talk about West Coast and others. The closest I get to East Coast was Galveston port to Key West and Bahamas. Oh, okay, nice. So yeah, we did cruise Galveston. I don't know how I left that out. We did cruise Galveston. So yeah, definitely. And Galveston is an interesting cruise port too. We actually stayed at a hotel that was in, because that's when we did Disney. So we actually stayed at a hotel that was in walking distance to the port. So we checked out of the hotel and walked to the port in like 7 to 10 minutes. It was nice. Okay. It was nice. I really liked it. Let's see here. World's largest. Okay, so the world's largest cruise ship weighs 248,663 tons. To put that in perspective, that's equivalent to how many blue whales? Y'all, I'm just giving y'all stuff today. That's equivalent to how many blue whales? So blue whales are the largest animals on Earth, and we're talking about a lot of whales here. So let's think about it. 248,663 tons. That's the largest cruise ship right now. All right. So how many blue whales do you think that is? And like I said, we're keeping it fun, y'all. We're keeping it fun. There's no poll for it. I wanted to pop that in there. How many blue whales do you think that is? And I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to drop that in the chat. So let's see. Since blue whales are the largest animals on Earth. Hey, Corey Young, how are you? Thanks for popping in, fam. We appreciate it. Corey Young from NC. We love local family. We appreciate you popping in. Thank you so much. We're talking all about East Coast cruise ports. So that's 15,000 blue whales. 15,000 blue whales. Mickey's Adventure said 1,000. It's 15,000 blue whales. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So just so you know, a little fun fact. All right. So which cruise season appeals to you the most? Would it be spring, which is considered March through May, summer, June through August, fall, September to November, or winter, December through February? And for me, it can't be so, oh my God, yeah. 15, yes. Fall for me. Listen, I keep singing it, and I don't think nobody want to hear the note, the tune I'm carrying here. Okay, I keep singing the praises of a fall cruise because these fall foliage cruises, in like northern United States, out of Baltimore and Boston, and when you go into Canada, those are beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. If you have not done one, you have to do one. I'm still trying to pick which ship I want to do one on, and then I'm gonna invite you guys to come if you want to come. I'll do it as a group, but I'm still trying to pick which ship because the first ship we did on was on Royal, and it was an Enchantment of the Seas. Love the cruise, love the port stops. Did not like the ship. There was only you only had the main dining room. You had the Serenity area. You only had their little cafe salad bar. There was no food options whatsoever. And you had to wait. You basically had to wait to eat. That ship is definitely an experience. I think YOLO has done it recently too. It's an experience. It's a beautiful ship. It's well maintained. It's just nothing to eat. It's nothing to eat. You definitely have to wait for your food times. So yeah. Shiro said winter shoulder season because of the prices. First of all, we're gonna talk about it because of the prices. For me, that's what it would be. And DC Cruz says spring, definitely fall or winter for Ricardo. And Mickey's Adventure says it's my birthday month. Okay, nice. Okay. And then I wonder if they are going to make a bigger class than Icon, or are they going to make new smaller ships? I'm and Royal for Royal. Royal has been talking about newer, smaller ships. And I think the reason why they're doing it is because they are learning that a lot of the way these big ships are amazing. I want to see what they're going to start doing after Legend. Yes, these big ships are amazing, but they can't get into some of the ports. So once again, you're limited to where you can take these ships. You're very limited to where you can take them. And I know they have been talking about doing newer, smaller ships. And I love that because exploring some of these different ports that we've never been to. And I have a live also that where we're talking about different port stops that people may not have known about. Yeah, so I think that's the one after next week. So 2 weeks from now, we're going to be talking about these different port stops. But yeah, so for me, I think it's going to be, you're going to start seeing the smaller ships. I think they're going to be smaller than Oasis class, my thought. But we'll see. I'm not 100% sure. And also, I'm trying to see what Celebrity talking about with these river cruises, y'all. I want to see it. Your birthday is in November. Shay's birthday is in November. So happy November birthdays. You got one coming up soon. So you guys are saying spring, fall, and winter. And I love it. I love it. Especially taking them to the fjords in Norway. Yes. And then, Liam, can you imagine doing that and then partnering that with like a fjords, like Norway train? Come on. Come on. You got to make, I mean, you're going to have time for it, but it sounds good, right? It sounds good. So I'm definitely interested in seeing. So love that nobody wants to cruise during the summer. I'm home during summer too. Is what I'm gonna say. Y'all don't like cruising during the summer? It's too hot. It's already in the Caribbean. Y'all don't like cruising during the summer. And it's expensive. Kitty, you're a November baby too. Love it. Love it. It's expensive to cruise during the summer. It is so expensive. You have to plan those way out. So I do have, let's see here. We are on the Q&A segment, but I do have a couple of more questions. Oh, Kitty said, oh, it ain't because that's because Shiro said the children, honey. The children. So I don't have slides for it, but I just want you guys to drop this in the chat. Okay. Let's see. So this is a current events question. Which port has had to temporarily move their cruise ship to Norfolk because of a bridge collapse? This should be an easy one. This is how we know if you guys are up to date on your cruise news. I know you are because y'all be telling us stuff. Yellow said, I'm cruising this summer. Listen, and I love it. And I want to do it too. I do. I want to do it too. It is hot. There are a lot of kids, and it is expensive. That don't mean I want to do it. Leo said, I cruise 365 if I can. If I could afford to do it, I would. I really would. I really would. We're working on it though, y'all. I'm working on it. Brandon be like, all right now. Yellow said winter, fall, spring. I'm cruising all of them. I leave for my next cruise on July 4th. Oh, you doing a 4th of July cruise? We did that last year on Margaritaville at Sea. Brandon always pick on me about that, but we did that last year too. Less children around the fall except Thanksgiving. Yeah, so everybody's back in school. So what I've learned is, because for North Carolina, our kids go back to school in August. Now, it's usually for our area, it's usually late August, but now they've changed the schedule where they go back in early August now. So most of our time, our kids go back to school in August. Everybody else in the world is like, look, after Labor Day, our kids going back to school. So they're going back to school in September, where our kids be like, they go to school for a week, take a break, and then they go back to school, which is crazy. Liam said Baltimore. Shiro said Baltimore. Kathy B said all the seasons except summer. TC Cruz said Baltimore. Yellow said my baby is out of school. Okay. Regina said 2 minute children. I had to cruise in August when my kids were younger. You got to cruise. That's right. You got to cruise. You got to cruise when you got them babies now. Liam said they should make it a tunnel, the bridge that collapsed in Baltimore. And the answer, yes, correct, is Baltimore. You guys are right. The Scott Key Bridge collapsed in March of 2024 last year. So the ships had to sail from Norfolk for like 2 months while they cleared the channel. And it was devastating, because I know some people lost their lives in that. So yeah, but that was definitely a move that had to be made. But yeah, I don't know, Liam, the tunnel thing, how would that work? You mean a tunnel for the cars, definitely, is what you're saying. Let's see. Okay, couple more questions before we head out. Let's see if you guys get it. Port Miami has a $1 billion tunnel. True or false? The Port of Miami has a $1 billion tunnel. True or false? True or false? The Port of Miami has a $1 billion tunnel. And I'll give you guys a couple of seconds. You can drop those T's or F's. All right. The next one is Boston's terminal is named after a pizza restaurant. True or false? Shiro said, Liam said, yes, car tunnel is on their 695 Beltway. Shiro said true, and Liam said true. Okay. The answer is true for that one. Yes. It is true. That tunnel, the tunnel actually goes under the water, and it connects you to the Port of Miami. So that is true. It is a $1 billion tunnel. Boston Terminal is named after a pizza restaurant. True or false? Is the Boston Tunnel named after a pizza restaurant? And this one is an interesting fact. So if you know about the Boston Terminal, then you should know. Kenny says true. The Boston Terminal is actually named after a Norwegian ship that caught fire in 1953. The Boston Tunnel is named after a Norwegian ship that caught fire in 1953. Sorry. All right, so the next one. Norfolk has a 23-year relationship with Carnival. True or false? Norfolk has a 23-year relationship with Carnival. True or false? All right. So the answer to that one is true. And the last one is Charleston allows ships with unlimited passengers. Charleston allows ships with unlimited passengers. So no matter the size, you can dock in Charleston. Y'all remember what we said about Charleston? Y'all remember what we said? Charleston is Shiro said false. And the answer is false. They cap it at 3,500 passengers. So you can only have 3,500 passengers or less to dock in Charleston. Fun fact, if you are interested and you would love for me to book it, Norwegian has and it's a pretty long, not Norwegian, Virgin has a pretty long sailing. I think it's like 9 days that stops in Charleston, and they have some sightseeing stuff. And so if you're interested in some of that Southern charm, and you want to check out the Virgin cruise that starts in the northern, I think it starts in Boston, and it goes down to Florida and it goes back. So yes, and it stops in Charleston as one of the ports. So last question is, how many people do you think will cruise globally in 2025 around the world? How many people do you think will take a cruise in 2025? And I'm interested to see these numbers. Because as much as we like cruising, there's just as many people who don't. So how many people do you think will take a cruise globally in 2025? Liam said, is that total capacity or actual capacity? It is a total capacity. The ship will 3,500. So if you have more than 3,500 people on the ship, they will not take you. Liam said 50 million people. 50 million people globally will take a cruise in 2025. Interesting, Liam. Interesting. Okay, so I will go ahead and give you the answer before we head out. Mickey's Adventure says 70. On the Go Yellow said 1 billion. Shiro said 40 million. Okay, so 70 million, 50 million, 40 million, and 1 billion. The correct answer and the closest answer is Shiro. The answer is 37.1 million people will take cruises globally in 2025. And that is actually pretty cool, since we all know that we had to come back from the vid to where we are now in cruising. So as always, I thank you guys for being here this week. This has been fun. Thank you for playing along and taking the polls. Next week, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it on the West Coast. So study up. I might even throw a prize in there. I don't know. We'll see. Since we're doing a lot of these polls, I might start throwing some prizes in there. But study up. And let's talk about the West Coast next week. And we may even throw in some other cruise ports as well that is not on the East Coast. And I appreciate you guys being here. If you have ship to shore topics, I have a running list of topics. So make sure to either email them to me, or you can just drop them under the comments of the videos. I will add them to the list and we'll go accordingly. So next week will be West Coast. And the week after that, we're talking about interesting cruise ports. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. And until Thursday, talk to me Thursday. Parker's out.